I'm really in my zone. All my niggas getting cheese like it's provolone. They ain't with us out the bottom, so they'll never know. Even through trial and error, gotta keep yourself composed. Feel like me, little bitch, I'm chasing all my dreams. I couldn't admit.
Yes, welcome back to another video on the Big Steph channel. And today we're here to preview one of the biggest games of the season, every single season, and that's Arsenal taking on Manchester United at Old Trafford. And here with me today is 433 Presser, someone big on Manchester United and someone very big in the Jamaican football community. Presser, talk about yourself.
Yeah, good to be on your platform this time around. You and KP and Yudi, as well as Dekani have been on mine. So it's good to support each other, and hopefully I can support City with beating you guys this Sunday or whichever they will play, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, good to see. Well, we know where your head is at in terms of going into this game and where your mentality is at in terms of this Manchester United team. But before we even go any deeper, let's touch on Manchester United versus Arsenal in these last 5 fixtures. Now, the last 5 results in the Premier League I have listed here. Arsenal with 3 wins, United with 2 wins. Very high-scoring games, 3-1 or 3-2, either way, both times. And Manchester United over recent history has had a good record playing Arsenal at Old Trafford. Only 1 win for Arsenal since 2007, and that came in November 2020 with no fans in the ground. But there have been a lot of big results and big fixture results coming from this game. You have the 8-2 in Manchester United's favour. Manchester United also ended Arsenal's Invincibles run at Old Trafford. However, we kept our Invincible run going in the season prior, in the 03-04 season, and we also won the league title at Old Trafford in 2002. So we know this fixture has a lot of history. Like I said, it's probably one of the biggest fixtures in English football. Presser, how are you feeling going into the game? And what are your feelings about this Manchester United team?
Well, listen, the history has always been great in terms of the rivalry. We know that I think Van Nistelrooy missed a penalty back then, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Martin Keown who ran around him or something like that. And yeah. So we know the history. In recent years, the games, to be honest, before Arsenal was at this level, the games were always good. The games were always entertaining. To be honest, they were equal to an extent. We took Alexis Sanchez from you guys, whatever the case is. So we have a history. Robin Van Persie as well, who won the league for United after we took him from you guys. You had him for so many years scoring goals, but didn't win any major titles. So I know the history going into this game. In terms of my feeling, listen, man, we talk in the group. I'm depressed with this United team. I don't have any hopes going into this game. Normally, if it was like under Jose Mourinho or even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I would have hopes. I would have a good amount of hope going into big games because even under Ole, he did beat big teams. He had the most wins against top 6 teams since after Sir Alex Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Out of any other manager. But with this United team, it's so depleted with injuries. The lack of proper management from the manager. He almost doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm lacking confidence going into this game. I don't see where we can get a win unless we pull off something like what we did against Liverpool.
Perhaps I want to touch on that before we even touch on how you're set up, because you said manager-wise, you said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer possibly or Jose Mourinho, more pragmatic and more defensive style of manager. What do you think? What do you not like about Erik ten Hag's setup, and how do you think he's going to set up going into this game with so many injuries?
What I don't like about him?
Yeah, personally, if there's anything you don't like about his setup against, you talked about big 6 teams and him not getting certain results.
Well, I don't think he's a guy who is flexible in terms of his systems, because with Jose Mourinho, they will go pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? Even when they have all the players that they need fit, they will go pragmatic just to get a result against the top 6 teams. Whereas Ole did it as well against City and a lot of these teams where we sit back, we hit them on the counter attack, and we had few injury problems here and there back then. Not as to the amount that we have now, but Erik ten Hag hasn't really adjusted, especially in the midfield area. He doesn't compact the midfield against whether it's smaller teams or the bigger teams as well. So that's one thing I don't like about him. He's not flexible in terms of his adjustment. But that's basically it surrounding him. In terms of how he will set up, I honestly don't know. He says that we play the most entertaining football, something like that recently. So I'm guessing he's going to play on the front foot. I still see the same team that we played recently against Palace. I don't know if anyone is is due back from injury. I know that Lisandro Martinez is in training today. I don't know if he will be fit for that game. But I guess it's the same team that we played against Crystal Palace. The only thing that we can do differently against this Arsenal team is give a better account of ourselves, even if we lose, in terms of the energy, the work rate, that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, I like where you touched on in terms of midfield, and I think one of Arsenal's strongest points, especially with Thomas Partey back in the lineup, has been midfield and the way we've been able to turn teams over high up the pitch, and even just been able to let loose a Martin Odegaard in the attack, let loose a Bukayo Saka in the attack, and that allowed Declan Rice to drive forward with the ball. And I think with the arrival of Thomas Partey coming back in the squad, our midfield has looked better and Arsenal has gotten better. So if and I've seen Man United a lot of time this season, you guys let anyone be able to dominate that midfield and able to pass through and control that midfield. So, like I said, if Arsenal are able to get hold of that midfield, I think it would be a very long game for you guys. But just touching on your injury situation, so far when I looked it up, you have obviously Malacia out, Maguire out, Martinez, like you said, back in training, but he possibly might be a doubt. Varane also out, Shaw out, Lindelof, Kambuala, all ruled out. That's all defenders, strictly all defenders. Then you have Martial possible, Bruno, McTominay, Rashford. Could we see any of those?
Well, maybe Bruno Fernandes. I don't think his injury before the Palace game was something big. I think it was more like a knock. So I expect that Bruno will be back for this game as our captain. Rashford, I don't really keep up with Rashford. So I don't even know. Martial, even if he's fit, I don't want that guy on the pitch. I just want him to leave this summer. So not even on the bench as well. But it's a very depleted team. You saw against Palace, we had Bissaka, Casemiro, Johnny Evans, as well as, was it Diego Dalot? Yeah.
Yeah, with Gallo, yeah.
So that was our back four essentially. And the midfield as well. But touching on in terms of the injuries, I don't think many players will be due back for this game against Arsenal. And that's the sad thing. We will have to play a depleted squad. And I think you guys will definitely get the win due to the fact that we have a lot of players injured. Once again, unless we pull off a miracle like something that we did against Liverpool. But even against Liverpool, we didn't have so many injuries.
Yeah, I do agree. It was a more stalwart defensive performance. And even on that day, me and KP were talking. We were saying, even on that day, Liverpool missed a lot of chances against you guys. Even in a lot of the fixtures they played against you guys. But y'all guys have managed to put out a result. But one thing I would say about Liverpool and Arsenal don't play that risky football. Arsenal are a more not pragmatic in terms of defensive ways, but more like a strategic way of playing the game. They will allow Man United to have it if Man United want to take on the front foot, and it will hurt Man United on the counter because we've seen against Palace a simple midfield press on Kobe Mainoo. Not saying he's not a good player, I rate Kobe Mainoo, but he was left a lot of the times in midfield all by his lonesome. Casemiro was out of position a lot of times, and I've seen the trend. You guys like to play forward and on your front foot at Old Trafford. So if you try to go at this Arsenal team, who are proven to be a very good pressing team, or proven to be very energetic in midfield and in defense, going long to Højlund is not going to work. Playing in the midfield is not going to work, and your defense is full of injuries. So, like you said, I don't know where you guys could get 3 points from. But Marcus Rashford, I want to touch on. He always seems to get a goal against Arsenal for some crazy reason, whether that be some outstanding strike or a penalty, whatever it is. Marcus Rashford, if he comes back, you see him probably impacting the game, even though you say you don't keep up on him too much?
Nah, I don't see him impacting the game. If he does, maybe it's something like a Man City where he scores the opening goal and that City goes missing. You know, even if he scores against you guys, I still think you guys will win. But let's put Marcus Rashford to the side quickly. You talked about where we will like impact the game from. I think the best way that we can impact the game, it's not by going long. I think it's by our wing play. I know that Anthony is not the greatest, whatever. I know that Garnacho is still developing, but if any threat that we have going forward is by those two guys playing out wide on the wing and then coming inside, putting balls in the box to Rasmus Højlund, and hopefully he can get on one of those chances. So in terms of that aspect, that's where we can hurt you guys. But Marcus Rashford in general, if he's back, I haven't really seen anything from Rashford to say that, you know what I'm saying, he will impact this game. The only thing I can say is that he will score the odd goal, but then I still think Arsenal will win this game.
Yeah, I could agree with you. I think like when you say wing play, I have to agree. I think that's probably one of the most likely areas you guys will get at us due to the fact that we're probably going to be missing Tomiyasu this game. Who knows? He's been a big doubt in and out of training. Would Kivior come there? We've seen him. If we run at him with pace, he probably is susceptible to some liabilities. Timber's back in training. Would Arteta put him in a baptism of fire at United? I don't think so. So it really depending on what happens at that left wing, that left back position. Sorry, but I still think, like you said, Anthony got his first goal against us. Goes first goal for United against us. Another crazy thing that happened at Old Trafford in this fixture, but like you said, I can't see anywhere way around it. I think one of the key matchups for Arsenal, though, from an Arsenal perspective, is that midfield like I talked about. If Declan Rice and Thomas Partey are on it, and they're in that midfield, and they're winning back the ball, I think, like me and KP talking about, KP predicted a very high scoreline. I predicted a pretty high scoreline as well. If all,
What 7-0?
huh?
7-0?
Nah, he didn't predict 7-0. But you guys do have a history of capitulation. That's something we talked about, because I think if Arsenal get the first goal and it's early, we've seen against Liverpool, we've seen against games against Coventry and Brentford and against Chelsea, we throw away games. So I think Arsenal will always have a chance in this game, especially if we put the pressure on. But if we get the first goal and the crowd starts to turn and the heads start to drop like we've seen over the years, I think it could be a very nasty scoreline. What are your feelings about that?
Yeah, you're right in that sense. You're right. Palace, I mean, we've had some high scoring games where we have won those games, but it was through capitulation from both teams defensively. So we've had some high scoring defeats across the season, to be honest. Listen, man, I know the quality of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey. Even recently, I watched Partey, and those balls he was playing from deep out wide to the right hand side to Bukayo Saka, and some of those guys was exceptional. He had something. He had something different to this Arsenal team and midfield. Yeah, listen, we have a goalkeeper in the goal. He ain't good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, listen, man. If Declan Rice in season, he has been scoring goals from long range. Bukayo Saka, when he comes off that right hand side, comes in on the inside on that left hand foot and put those shots on in the bottom corner. His diving ability is suspicious, man. So I'm telling you, even Kai Havertz can shine in this game. So if you guys score 2 goals in the first half, I'm telling you, it's going to end up like 4-5 if we're not triple.
We also talked about 8-2. Do you think Arsenal could possibly get revenge for it? I want revenge for the 8-2.
Nah, you ain't getting that one.
I want revenge for the 8-2. But listen, I don't know if we'll get 8. 8 is pretty high, seeing that Arsenal haven't really scored 8 in a game this season, even against opposition like Sheffield.
How much you scored against West Ham? 7?
6. He scored 6 against West Ham, then scored 6 against Sheffield. That's the most he scored this season away from home. But Arsenal, like I said, have been very good away from home. If we didn't concede those 2 goals against Spurs, it would have been 7 straight away clean sheets in a row. And I think, to be honest, if we didn't throw away those goals, we deserved it. I think Spurs didn't create anything. And then again, I can't see a way for United in this game. And I guess, Pressa, that leads us to the last real point I have. What do you think the scoreline would be after the end of this game?
Well, let me just make a quick assessment. I mean, you guys have a fit team going into this game.
Yeah.
Palace gave us 4. I think we drew to Brentford before that. I think I'm going with a 3-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, I went 3-0 as well, but to be honest, I'm kind of wary about the Rashford threat. But I think once we get those early goals, I think I don't see a way for you guys. I just think you're decimated with injuries this season.
Let me just add to that, right? You mentioned that the last win that you guys got was from 2020?
Yeah, November.
Okay, and before that, United has been a fortress, right? When we played Arsenal. That's the only hope United has in terms of keeping that record going, in terms of making that a fortress at the end of the day. I think the fans will be behind the team, but will the team show up? Who knows? I mean, the best thing for United could be a draw. If we don't get a win, a draw for United would be like a win for us against this Arsenal team.
A draw for Arsenal, from an Arsenal perspective, will be detrimental to our title hopes, to be honest. And all Arsenal fans are. Once Arsenal fans got past that Spurs game and got past that Spurs hurdle, we felt like these games against United and Everton, especially in the form you guys are in, we should get 3 points and keep our title hopes alive. It will be detrimental for us, and it will be crushing for me not to pick up 3 points against United. But United fans will always want to have that ability. You think, like you said, you touched on it being a fortress. You touched on it having been such a spooky ground for Arsenal. Is there any way possible that you guys could just have a freak result?
Repeat. Yeah, I didn't hear in the last word.
Is there any way possible there could be a freak result?
I mean, there's a possibility. That's why I mentioned the fortress thing. Seeing that you guys don't have a good record, especially in the last 5 or so years as well at Old Trafford. The freak result would be just like a 1-0 win to United or 2-0. You know what I'm saying? Would it be much of an upset? I don't think so, because United they're known to, when they're bad, to beat big teams. So I wouldn't consider it an upset. It would be a bad result for Arsenal, I can tell you that.
Terrible result.
But it wouldn't be so much of a freak result for me because United, they will beat big teams. So far this season, we haven't really done it, to be honest. But yeah, man, that's what I have to say surrounding the team.
So let's move on now to Arsenal's title hopes. I know I've seen you cover a lot of football. You cover a lot of football aspects on your channel. I've seen you back Arteta. You like Arteta's style of management. You like the progress he's been making. But you're also a Man United fan at the end of the day. Who would you prefer to win the title? I heard you mention help City earlier. Who would you prefer to win the league title?
Listen, when I say City, people like say, "Oh, that's your rival," whatever the case is. But the difference is when City wins trophies, nobody talks about it. I know that if this Arsenal team wins it, I think out of all of the teams in the Premier League, Arsenal are more prevalent on social media.
Yeah.
So you will always
probably United than I'd say Arsenal, or both the same.
No, I think Arsenal, man. Arsenal fans are a bit more annoying with the social media. Robbie from AFTV, the songs that they make up, true. And then there was this ongoing conversation. Oh, who do you think will win the title first? Like Arsenal or United, or when Ole was there, Mikel Arteta or Ole. So if Arsenal win the title, then that conversation, like, they will be all over social media. Whereas City, they won the treble recently and nobody talks about it. So I would prefer City to win it, to be honest. If Arsenal does win it, I would be glad in terms of Mikel Arteta has succeeded because I like the guy. He had a blueprint when he just went there. He went through the first like 2 or 3 seasons, built the foundation, and beating like Pep and Klopp out to the title. So in that regards, like, it would be good for Mikel Arteta. You know what I'm saying? It would be good for his resume. But I think I want City to win it because I'm not going to really hear about it if they win it. You know what I'm saying?
That is a fair assessment as well too, because I feel like our first league title in 20 years, I could already feel, even when I go to these bars and I interview people, I talk to different fans from around the globe, the energy around the club right now, the feeling around the club is absolutely at an all-time high for me since I've been watching Arsenal in recent history. But I want to touch on one more thing. You talked about Arsenal and Arteta's progress and his steps to become and take this Arsenal squad where they need to be. Ten Hag is the man in charge right now. There's only his second season. You touched on a lot of things that Ten Hag has done poorly, but Ten Hag has had a good season last year, got 3rd place, won a trophy, got the two finals, another final again coming up soon for you guys. What do you think about Erik Ten Hag's reign so far, and does he last possibly another 18 months in the job?
Hell no. Listen, man, he ain't a good manager. I can give him credit that he's a good, like, maybe cup manager, you know what I'm saying? He got us to 2 finals last year, got us to 1 this year as well that we're yet to play. But you know, at least with Mikel Arteta, when he was at Arsenal, I saw something from Mikel Arteta. Yes, he was missing out on top 4, but he saw something. He wanted to move out players. Not saying Erik Ten Hag doesn't want to move out players, but he hasn't really shown me anything yet. And to make matters worse, the things that he says after the games as well, it doesn't help him. Talking about we're progressing, all this type of stuff. So it doesn't help him. It doesn't instill confidence in me to say that I want him here for another 18 months. So for me, he has to go at the end of the season. Maybe he can be a manager for a different club or be a better manager for a different club, but not United, man. Not United.
Do you have eyes on any manager coming in?
I like Tuchel. Yeah, I think
Tuchel has done well. Got Bayern to a semi-final. Won it with Chelsea. Took PSG to a final. He's proven that he could be a good cup manager, and I think he possibly could get something out of this group of United players. But I think also too with these United players, we've seen that they'll play for a manager and then they'll stop playing. So we'll see how that goes. But Preston, thank you for joining the channel. Thank you so much for giving all your information. All your anything you want to say to close out the video?
Not really. Hopefully United beat you guys. That's the best thing that could happen this weekend.
Nah, I think it's 3 points for Arsenal. I probably predict 3-0. I know you gave your 3-0 prediction as well. I predicted 3-0 on KP's channel. Watch KP as well. KP's thing will also be down below. But I think it will be 3-0. I think it will be a convincing win for Arsenal, and I just can't see any way. You guys exploit us to get 3 points in this fixture. I know it's been a tough fixture. I know Old Trafford has been a fortress, and I know it's been tough. But I just think we have grown such a formidable defense, a formidable midfield. And even if our attack isn't firing, you guys give up so many chances. And I just think at least one of those chances have to go in. And I think we'll get the result from there. We'll get the result from there. But yes, thank you, Presser, for joining. All his links, all his stuff will be down below in the comment section below. Show love to his channel. Everything Man United related. anything football related, anything Jamaican football related. So if you like international football, head over there with no doubt. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.